Thank you, Richard. Thank you very much. It's fascinating to hear where football came from, these stories. It's equally fascinating to look at where it's going. 6 years ago, Qatar won the rights to host the World Cup. In 6 years' time, this month, the World Cup final will be played in this city. And we're starting to get an idea of just how it might look.
When Qatar won the right to host the 2022 FIFA World Cup, a once-in-a-generation opportunity to showcase this unique country and region was created. Qatar is realizing a vision for the future that will define a nation and a region for generations to come. The tournament will open the door to new worlds. A new world of intercultural understanding, a new world of opportunities and development, and a new world of experiences at the tournament and beyond. Accessible, sustainable, and truly remarkable, Qatar's compact and connected hosting plan ensures a FIFA World Cup like no other. The country's infrastructure is being transformed. An ultra-modern airport, expressways, and a new metro system will be in place by 2022. An abundance of hotels and other accommodation options will cater to every type of visitor, with experiences ranging from classic luxury, authentic Bedouin-style camping, and serviced apartments, ideal for families and large groups of travelling supporters. Fans will have a maximum travel time between stadiums of just 1 hour. For the first time in the modern era, fans will be able to attend multiple FIFA World Cup matches in a single day. Reduced travel times will also help Qatar achieve another first. The tournament will be the first fully carbon-neutral FIFA World Cup, a green milestone that reiterates Qatar's commitment to sustainability while providing a lasting legacy for the region and the world. The jewels in the crown are the state-of-the-art stadiums being built and renovated for the tournament. They will feature innovative new cooling technologies, iconic designs, and fully detachable upper tiers that will be distributed to developing countries after the tournament, creating a legacy that will last long after the final whistle in 2022. The stadiums are being woven into the urban fabric of the communities, creating vibrant, multi-use neighborhoods that will cater to local needs and become hubs for culture, commerce, and education. Stadium locations were all selected based on their potential for legacy use, existing infrastructure and available services, as well as Qatar's sustainability commitments. All are aligned with the nation's long-term development plans and the Qatar National Vision 2030. Team base camps will be a home away from home for the competing nations. Paired with world-class training facilities and less than an hour away from the stadiums, travel times will be cut dramatically, allowing for more training and relaxation. Players will be in peak physical condition, able to provide the ultimate spectacle in elite sport on the world's greatest stage. There will be an abundance of options for supporters away from the stadiums who still want to soak up the special FIFA World Cup atmosphere. Across Qatar, fan zones will provide family-friendly spaces to watch matches together and create more wonderful memories of the unifying power of the beautiful game. By harnessing the innovative spirit of Qatar, its values, and its renowned hospitality, the tournament will change the way football is experienced and change the face of a country and a region forever. Join us on a journey to an amazing new world.
Six years since that day. You don't need to put your hands up here, but how many people in this room 6 years ago thought it's not possible? Now, anybody still think it's not possible? Can I introduce now to the stage Nasser Al-Khater, the Assistant Secretary General for the Supreme Committee for Delivery and Legacy, or the man who's got to make that happen. Nasser. So how are you?
Hi Andy, how are you?
6 years down, 6 to go, halfway?
Halfway exactly on December 2nd, so 5 days ago.
How are you feeling?
It's a halfway mark. I mean, it's been a long journey. It was a difficult journey at times. It was an inspiring journey. And, blood, sweat, tears, lots of good times. But sometimes it's difficult to think that there's another 6 years to go. But hopefully we have the energy. Hopefully we have, I see them here, the team, also the football family. I mean, the entire country is suffering as well. I mean, metros, roads. It's something that everybody is excited about, and it's something that everybody has to live through. You see the traffic here, you see the tremendous amount of construction. It's something that I'm sure everybody shares this feeling. It's a feeling of pride. It's absolute pride to be able to do something this meaningful and this great spectacle. The World Cup is the #1 sport in the region. The first time in the Arab world, the first time in the Middle East. It's quite a responsibility, but it's one that us as a team, as a country, shoulder with pride.
How far along are you then in terms of that 6 years, 12 years? Are you halfway on your chart of important markers?
We're halfway in terms of time. In terms of stadium construction, we're ahead of schedule on most of the stadiums. Some of the stadiums we are on schedule. I hesitate to put an overall sort of marker to say we're at the halfway mark, because a lot of the things that we do, which we're going to talk about, are very legacy-based projects that at the end of the day are not necessary to host a successful World Cup, but they're necessary to have, for us to have, as we define a successful World Cup.
Are they the big markers? Is that the one thing that has to be done? Do you need those 8 stadia? Is it 8 stadia? Is that where we're sticking, or might there be more?
Currently, the discussions are in 8 stadia. Officially, we will know first quarter of 2017 whether it's a final 8 stadiums or whether there will be a request for one more. All the indications are that it will be 8 stadiums.
Is that enough? Is that way? Are you happy with 8?
Yeah, I think 8 stadiums is ideal for the country. I think 8 stadiums is ideal for our legacy plans, and 8 stadiums are quite enough to host a World Cup.
How difficult, how challenging has it been to choose the 8 and to get them off the ground and to start seeing what we'll see in 6 years' time?
I mean, and people underestimate the planning that goes, and I think a lot of planning went into it. I think as a country, probably there might have been some hesitation for things taking a little bit longer than expected, but I believe that with solid planning, you'll get better results. And as a result of that, planning probably takes just as long as constructing a stadium. So we're happy with it. For us, a stadium is not just a stadium. For us, the stadium has to have a legacy plan prior to construction. So in all of the designs of the stadium and the precincts surrounding the stadiums, the legacy plans have to be in place. Some stadiums won't be stadiums after the World Cup.
Is that the problem?
No, I think that's the future. What's the point? If you look at previous World Cups, you look at South Africa, you look at Brazil, there are some stadiums that haven't been used after the World Cup. So I think if you don't have stadiums and you need to construct stadiums for the event that you're hosting, then you better have a plan for them after that. And if that plan requires you converting it into something else or completely dismantling it and utilizing that plot of land, in the long term, that would be beneficial to you and to your country.
Has that been easy to get people to buy into, to believe in that vision?
No, I wouldn't say it was difficult to get them to buy into it. I think everybody saw that that's what makes sense. And I think, the term white elephants, when it came to World Cups and Olympics, came because of a reason. And it became a term that people, international organizing bodies, wanted to stay away from. They did not want white elephants. They did not want to feel responsible for these white elephants. So I think that the environment, the landscape was ripe for robust legacy plans after the tournament. And I think some of the plans that we have in place are the way to go. We've spoken to the communities where we're building these stadiums to ask them. We've gone door to door, literally. I mean, we have a community engagement team that went door to door. We have what we call majlises in this part of the world, which is basically where people gather. And we call them and we ask them if we can come, if they can call the neighbors. And we'd sit with 20, 30 people at a time and we say, look, we're building the stadium, but we're not only building the stadium, we're building the surrounding precinct. What do you feel is missing in your area? What do you feel is something that you can benefit from? I mean, the plans, I'll just give you as an example because the list can go on and on. One area in the south of Qatar where Al-Wakra Stadium is being built, they said that we have a lack of public parks. We want to have public parks where people can exercise, people can walk, people can just have picnics. So we combined that into our legacy plans for the precinct. They said that, you know, Wakra is going to have the largest port in Qatar right now. We have a lot of businesses here. However, all the business hotels are in Doha, 25 kilometers away. It's not feasible for us. So in the precinct master plan, we've put a hotel. Now, it's not to say that we're going to build the hotel, but we have made allocations of land for the private sector to invest and build this hotel. Similarly, they asked for more schools. There is a shortage of schools in Qatar right now. So more than one stadium, or the precinct of the stadium, has schools in its plans. So these are the kind of ideas that we've incorporated into the precincts. And as I said, some stadiums will no longer be stadiums after the tournament. They will be completely converted.
Did you expect to be doing this 6 years ago?
Absolutely not. I'm a finance major.
And how are you finding it?
I found my calling. I can safely say that, you know, I stumbled upon this great journey by complete coincidence, and it was a part-time job. I'm here 6 years later.
And it becomes all-consuming. Do you find you spend more time dealing with matters internally, speaking to the communities in Qatar, or do you spend more time answering questions to the rest of the world and the questions that you have had to answer over the past 6 years?
We've responded to our critics for a very long time, and to the detriment of the local community and the local media, which have felt that we've possibly ignored them. But we were under a lot of criticism, and we were under a lot of, I would say, malicious and unwarranted attacks. And I think we consciously took a decision that we need to focus on our community, we need to focus on our country, we need to focus on the local media. And over the past year, over a year, I would say right now, we've really began extending our arm to the local community, speaking to them, understanding what their needs are. And I think it's time that our critics start to listen to us now.
Do you think they have done? Do you think they are?
Yeah, I think they're coming around. I think they're coming around to a Qatar World Cup is not a bad idea. It's the first World Cup in the Middle East. It's the first World Cup in the Arab world. The region hasn't had a World Cup before, and this region definitely deserves it.
Is that a big responsibility, not just for Qatar, then for the whole of the Gulf, the whole of the Middle East?
I think it is a responsibility that we all should take seriously. I think it's an opportunity when you have over 1 million people descending on your country, because let's face it, we're so connected in the region that people will want to go visit the neighboring countries. If they're here for 2 weeks of football, why wouldn't they go to some of the neighboring countries? You travel 3 or 4 hours on a flight in a host country to attend a match. Why not travel 45 minutes or 50 minutes or 35 minutes to visit another country and experience the Middle East? So this is an opportunity for the neighboring countries to portray the Middle East in its true colors, not to portray it the way it's portrayed on the news channels.
What's the difference between the way it's perceived internationally and the way it is?
It's a rich, vibrant, multicultural, multi-ethnic society that loves progress, that loves people, that's fun-loving, and more importantly, loves football.
A moment ago, you said the criticism had been malicious and unwarranted. What did you mean by that? And how have you answered that?
I feel like I'm in hard talk here. Look, we state the facts over and over. Unfortunately, the criticism that has been targeted towards us have been targeted by people, organizations that have never even set foot in Qatar. And one thing we say is, you want to criticize, be my guest. Criticize. Come here, see it for yourself, witness it for yourself, and then maybe you'll have some constructive criticism, which we welcome. And as Hassan, our Secretary General, has always and repeatedly said, we are open and will continue to be open to constructive criticism, and we will extend our arms to people who have constructive criticism. However, if it's criticism for the sake of criticism, at this point we have no time and no interest in that.
Do you find it's easy to get people to take notice of things like Generation Amazing? Do people listen? Are they open to these ideas, these ideas you have, these plans?
Some are, some aren't. To be honest with you, our main concern with a program like Generation Amazing is the actual communities. And I can tell you that the communities listen, the communities care, the communities are welcoming of this program. And that's what matters. At the end of the day, it's a human social responsibility program, which we've initiated since 2009. It's about football for development. It's not using the development of football, it's actually doing it the other way around. How do you teach kids what healthy living means? Through football exercises. How do you teach kids what integration means? How do you teach kids what environmental sustainability means? All through football. And we build pitches, we build facilities around the pitches, we maintain them, we train trainers in these communities. We're operational now in Nepal, Pakistan. We were operational in Syria, we're operational in Lebanon, in Jordan. We will expand this program to more and more countries. We're operational here in Qatar. And we know that the people who are benefiting from this program love it and care about it and want it. So our critics can keep on criticizing. It doesn't mean anything to us.
What about Challenge 22?
Again, you know, you're beginning to speak to about some of these programs, which we've said from the very beginning. We want this World Cup to leave a lasting legacy. And we didn't want the word lasting legacy to be a PR word that sounds nice, that everybody starts clapping for you because you have it in all your brochures and on your website. We wanted to make sure that, I mean, you have to understand, when Qatar won the World Cup, to host the World Cup in 2010, Qatar was embarking on a 2030 vision. Now this vision basically is about progressing Qatar into a knowledge-based economy and making sure that it's balanced with economic development, environmental sustainability, human and social development. So we said, how do we as an organization utilize the World Cup to help develop the country in reaching its sustainable goals? And we decided to look at each and every one of those pillars, whether it's environmental sustainability, human sustainability, social sustainability, and economic, and create programs that help drive these forward. Challenge 22 is an entrepreneurship innovation program. It's an annual award where young people from around the Arab world and the Middle East can contribute to the World Cup and also contribute to the economy by creating ideas, by putting ideas forward. We've created an ecosystem for them from people to help them through with ideation. If the idea goes to commercialization, we help them with seed funding. We put them in touch with incubators around the region who have partnered with us to be able to take them to an idea commercialization stage. People will say, well, you're delivering a World Cup, what does this have to do with you? We say, we want to make this World Cup count. We don't want it just to be 30 days of football, or 28 days in our case.
Do you enjoy the chance to talk about these things rather than answering criticisms, difficult questions, the same questions over and over again?
Absolutely. I mean, we like talking about our programs. We like delivering our programs. I think they're exciting. It gives us a platform to be able to really make a difference, and not just in sports. We also do hope that we make a difference in sports. We do hope that the national team takes advantage of this opportunity. We saw what the World Cup in Japan did for the Japanese national team. And hopefully the region can benefit from that as well. I mean, the aim is to qualify to the 2018 World Cup. Let's hope, there's still a chance, but at least let's hope that it becomes a catalyst for grassroots development.
If you don't follow the Qatar national team, it's been small margins so far, hasn't it? It was 2 late goals in Iran, a late goal against Uzbekistan, a head against South Korea, down to 10 men. It's small margins. They're not far away.
I mean, it's unfortunate. We know that they are, if not equal to, better than a lot of the teams in the group. However, they have been unfortunate. Now let's hope that, there's still the second leg. Let's hope that they can turn this around.
How important is the progress of the national team here to what you have to do?
I mean, it's important for everybody here. It's important as a national, it's important for the country, and for us, it's great to have a national team that competes and goes far in the World Cup.
If they didn't, you can't influence it, you can't change it. Is it a problem?
No. I mean, we're hoping that they will go very far in the 2022 World Cup, but at the end of the day, I think we will have a successful World Cup in all cases.
You're having to think on your feet a lot, not just today, but I mean, for the last 6 years.
I'll tell you, this was more than I bargained for. I mean, I thought this was going to be a nice, relaxed. Keep on going though, it's okay.
Should I tell you the questions that I was given were from your staff?
Oh no.
Dropping somebody in there. When this all started, we thought the World Cup was going to take place in the summer. Now it's going to be a Winter World Cup. Was that an easy decision for you to make?
It wasn't our decision. You've seen the video. We've had an open air-cooled stadium since 2008. And we knew that we could take this technology and apply it in public spaces. And we were looking forward to showcasing this technology. We've patented it, we've done several prototypes. We've created 2 fan zones. We've created a mini-sized stadium, all using different types of cooling technology, and we've patented a lot of this technology. So it was an opportunity for us to showcase this to the world, and also it was an opportunity to tell other countries, look, all the countries that are on the equator have warm weather, and are you saying that a lot of the countries on the equator are going to struggle hosting these mega events? So we wanted to say that, look, you can host events, whether they're sporting events or non-sporting events, and Qatar was able to do something about it. Now, the fact that the games, the tournament has been moved to November, December, doesn't mean that we're not going to go ahead with the cooling technology. It just means that we won't be able to showcase it as much. But the decision wasn't ours. The decision was made by the football community.
I should say I live in Qatar now. However, I grew up in England, a proud supporter of the English national team, who have consistently failed to perform well in summer World Cups. I'm delighted it's a Winter World Cup in 2020. We might have a chance. That said, what about, you talked about fans. Have you had to change anything after what we saw last summer at the European Championships? We haven't seen crowd trouble to that level for a long, long time. Did that make you sit up and take notice? Has that changed anything?
Look, I think mega events, security and safety are always your priorities. Now, the fact that Qatar is a small country and it's going to be a compact World Cup, security has taken more of a holistic look and a completely different look about how you run safety and security. And I think what happened in France, in Marseille especially, was something that raised everybody's attention, and we need to take a look at how we manage that. So, in short, yes.
I suppose one of the questions you get asked, probably disproportionately, but often, is the subject of alcohol. It's a very sensitive subject in this part of the world. Have you come up with solutions as to how that will be handled in 22?
Look, I mean, alcohol has always been a point of contention, but our position has always been clear from the very beginning, and our position hasn't changed. We've always said that alcohol is available in Qatar. It's not as readily available as other countries. The World Cup is about experiencing different cultures. We're a hospitable country. However, we're also a modest country. When fans descend on Qatar for the World Cup, we ask them to enjoy it, to respect our culture. But like we said, alcohol is going to be available. not as readily. It's not going to be around every corner. It's not going to be in public spaces, but in designated areas it will be available. And I mean, I think it's a non-issue.
What would you hope that those fans who come to Qatar in 2022, what do you hope their impression will be? How do you hope they leave Qatar? What will they walk away with?
First and foremost, I want them to enjoy it, to watch some really good football, which you know, at the end of the day can make or break a World Cup. But at the end of the day, I want them to have an honest, joyful experience of Qatar and the region. We will encourage people to visit countries in the region, to really take it in, to really understand what the region is about.
How proud are you of your country and the way it's changed over not just the last 6 years, but specifically since the World Cup was awarded?
I mean, Qatar has been on a rapid pace of growth since early 2000s. I think the World Cup right now puts a line in the sand and says a lot of these projects have to be finished by 2022. And we look at a lot of the road infrastructure projects, the metro and the stadiums, all targeting 2020 as completion date, which gives us a good buffer. And I think I speak for everybody that works in Qatar, that works at the Supreme Committee, that's delivering this World Cup. I think we're all immensely, immensely proud.
The country's changing so much. If this is your first time here, it's incredible to see how it's changed in the 5 years I've lived here, but over the last decade, you wouldn't believe it's the same country.
Yeah, it's the skyline changes, the roads change. I think the people who do Google Maps can't keep up anymore. Every month you get a message from the car dealership saying, come and update your GPS. I think it's, you know, it's part of the game right now.
The World Cup final, December the 18th?
Yes, on National Day.
What are you going to do on December the 19th, 2022?
Take a long vacation.
What do you think the overall legacy will be here? December the 19th, the fans go home, the World Cup travels, maybe to London. What do you, maybe it stays here. What do you think people will take away here?
I want people to feel that it was a celebration of exchanging ideas and a celebration of really portraying Qatar in its true colors and the region.
Are you on course for that?
I think so, yeah. We're on course. Yeah, we're doing well.
Nasser, I've asked you some tough questions. I really appreciate your answers.
Thank you very much.
I hope the room appreciate the answers. And Nasser Al-Khater, the man charged with delivering that.
Thank you.
Happy? Shukran. And this is probably the moment where I tell you, I'm not quite sure where we go next. Tony, am I bringing you back up onto the stage? In which case, we're going to pause for 5 minutes and then we'll resume. Thank you very much for your time, ladies and gentlemen.